In this video, we shall learn about own price, cross price, and income elasticity of demand. Quantity demanded for a product mainly depends on its price. If price of a product rises, its quantity demanded falls. And if price falls, quantity demanded rises. However, rather than price of the product, quantity demanded for a product may depend on some other factors like prices of other goods, income of the consumer, taste, preference, etc. For example, quantity demanded for tea may depend on price of coffee. If price of coffee falls, people will demand more coffee and less tea. Similarly, if income of the consumer rises, consumer may demand more tea. Depending on the factors determining quantity demanded, elasticity of demand can be of different types. Here we shall discuss three major types of elasticity of demand. Let us consider quantity demanded for good X, Qx, depends on price of good X, Px, price of good Y, Py, and income of the consumer, M. Here price of X is the own price of the good, and hence, when we measure responsiveness of quantity demanded for X due to the change in price of X, it is called own price elasticity of demand for good X. We denote it by EXX. Again, for commodity X, price of Y is cross price, and hence, when we measure responsiveness in quantity demanded for X due to the change in price of Y, it is called cross price elasticity of demand. We can denote it by EXY. Finally, when we measure responsiveness in quantity demanded for X due to the change in income of the consumer, it is called income elasticity of demand, which can be denoted as EM. In the same sense, we can get taste elasticity, advertisement elasticity, etc. I shall first give you a detail on own price elasticity. Own price elasticity measures the responsiveness in quantity demanded for a good due to the change in price of that good. We can measure own price elasticity in three different ways. Primarily, own price elasticity EXX is measured as the ratio between percentage change in quantity demanded for X and percentage change in price of X. It is called percentage formula of measuring own price elasticity. Another way to measure own price elasticity is point elasticity, in which we first differentiate quantity demanded for X, Qx, with respect to the price of X, Px, and then multiply it by the ratio between price of X and quantity demanded for X. Here Qx indicates the demand equation of good X. We use point elasticity when there is a single price of X given. On the other hand, when there are given two prices of X, we use arc elasticity formula. In arc elasticity, we first take the ratio between change in quantities of X and prices of X, and then multiply it by the ratio between sum of prices of X and quantities of X. That is, according to the arc elasticity, own price elasticity EXX equals Qx1 minus Qx2 divided by Px1 minus Px2 multiplied by Px1 plus Px2 divided by Qx1 plus Qx2. The common thing is that when we measure own price elasticity of demand using this formula, there appears a negative sign in result. The reason is quantity demanded for a product is inversely related to its own price. We have to ignore the negative sign by taking absolute value to make decision on types of elasticity. For example, if the elasticity of demand EXX equals minus 1.5, the absolute value is 1.5. Based on own price elasticity, demand can be of 5 types. Firstly, elastic demand. In this case, the absolute value of elasticity of demand is greater than 1. According to the percentage formula, when own price elasticity EXX is greater than 1, it means percentage change in quantity demanded for X is greater than percentage change in price of X. That is, quantity demanded responds at a greater percentage to the change in price. For example, if price rises by 10%, quantity demanded falls by more than 10%, say 12%. Demand is inelastic when the absolute value of elasticity of demand EXX is less than 1. Again, according to the percentage formula, when demand is inelastic, percentage change in quantity demanded for X is less than percentage change in price of X. For example, if price rises by 10%, for inelastic demand, quantity demanded falls by less than 10%, say 6 or 8%. Demand is said to be unitary elastic when absolute value of own price elasticity of demand EXX equals 1. In this case, percentage change in quantity demanded is exactly same to the percentage change in price of X. Demand will be perfectly inelastic when the absolute value of elasticity of demand equals 0. In this case, there will be no change in quantity demanded for X due to the change in price of X, meaning that quantity demanded for X is not responsive to the change in price of X. Finally, demand is said to be perfectly elastic when the absolute value of own price elasticity of demand EXX equals infinity. It means there will be huge change in quantity demanded for X without a change or infinitesimal change in price of X. This is how we can interpret different types of demand based on own price elasticity. Please check the next video for cross price elasticity and income elasticity.